Live from the Mission Campus, Santa Clara University, it's the NCAA Women's Soccer Championship and a first-round matchup this afternoon. Horizon League regular season and tournament champion Milwaukee ventures out west to take on 7th-ranked and nationally seeded Santa Clara. It's the Broncos and the Panthers in the postseason on the W.TV. Well, hello once again, soccer fans, and welcome inside Stevens Stadium and Buckshaw Field. I'm David Gentili, describing the action for you today. Excited to have you on for the ride for this NCAA Women's Soccer Championship first-round matchup. And boy, we've got a promising ones on our hand here in Northern California's South Bay. Let's start with visiting Milwaukee, 16-1-1 on the season, regular season champion, tournament champion in the Horizon League. This is a very balanced squad all around. Couple of players tied with 6 goals. Aaron Corrigan, great setup player with 12 assists, very dangerous on set pieces. And this is a team that in the last 2 regular seasons has lost exactly 1 game. 16-1-1 this year. A stellar season under 4th-year head coach Troy Fabiano. So it should be a fun bunch to watch here this afternoon. For the Santa Clara Broncos out of the West Coast Conference, 16-3-1 in the regular season in 2018. Also a dangerous and balanced team. They had the nation's regular season leader in assists in Maria Sanchez with 14. Maddie Gonzalez led the side with 8 goals. And the Broncos also had the West Coast Conference Player of the Year in Kelsey Hedge. So a couple of stacked rosters top to bottom, 2 teams that regionally wouldn't normally meet this early on in the tournament, and that's just one of the many things that adds to the intrigue as Santa Clara takes on Milwaukee in the NCAA Women's Soccer Championship. David Gentili with you here in the booth. Mark Villapuesa is up top running the camera for us today. The Panthers will be attacking left to right in the first half, and the Broncos will be attacking right to left. Milwaukee in the black and gold, Santa Clara in the white and red. Just about set to get underway here. First round of the NCAA tournament. Action beginning yesterday. Already some exciting results and quite a few matches to look forward to. The winner of this one moves on to take on North Carolina State in Los Angeles next week. And Milwaukee kicks us off. Chandler McDaniel gets us going, and we're underway. Panthers playing a long ball forward. This is a team that will look to serve a lot of long passes out the back as they try and get after a Santa Clara bunch that went 11-0 at home here at Stevens Stadium. Gabby Zavala working with the near side, passed it forward for McDaniel. Working in tight spaces against a couple of Broncos. Audrey Hagart sends it on out, and out for a Milwaukee throw-in. "32 combined wins in the regular season for these two sides, 16 apiece. Milwaukee 7-1 away from home this season, 9-0-1 back in the friendly confines of Engelman Stadium. Just on the western shores of Lake Michigan out in Wisconsin, a long trek out here to Northern California. Attempted cross blocked by a couple of Broncos, and the Panthers will have an early corner. Lourdes Onwumeka, the senior from Hercules, California, one of 4 California natives coming back here to the Golden State to play this NCAA tournament match here today. And this is an area where Milwaukee is particularly dangerous. Set pieces, they've got an early one here. Aaron Corrigan on it. She'll have a left-footed in-swinging ball, 12 assists this season. Cross from Corrigan, heading back post and punched away by Santa Clara's Melissa Lauder. And that one will get on out for a Panther throw-in. Rachel Philpott, sophomore from Linden, Michigan, will leave the ball down, and her teammate, freshman Haley Johnson out of Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, will come over to take it. Another blocked ball, bouncing just at the top of the 18, chipped on in. Onwumeka trying to chase it down. Can't quite get there, and it's out for a Santa Clara goal kick. Look at the starting lineup. quickly here for Milwaukee. And a lot of players up and down the pitch. Keep your eye on Haley Johnson, Yelena Seaver, tied for the team lead with 6 goals apiece in the 2018 campaign. Team that took down Cleveland State 1-0 in the Horizon League Championship match. On a goal by Horizon League Defensive Player of the Year, Kelly Swenson, to earn the automatic berth to the NCAA tournament. This one will be knocked out right in front of Santa Clara's Maria Sanchez. Talked about her a moment ago. What an outstanding senior season for Sanchez. 5 goals and the national leader with 14 assists. Deadly with the left foot. Dispossessed there by a couple of Panthers. This one falls down as Audrey Haggard looks to chase after it. And there's Alex Loetta, one of the 2 Bronco captains, along with Melissa Louder, who's manning the net. Michaela George on the far side trying to pick out Kelsey Turnbow, and it ends up out for a Milwaukee throw. This is the 28th NCAA tournament appearance all time for 7th-ranked Santa Clara out of the West Coast Conference. 16 wins, 3 losses, and a draw on the year. A host of notable results, including results against the top 2 teams in the tournament, a draw against Stanford, and a win against North Carolina. Broncos always scheduling tough, but it's one of the more special seasons we have seen in some time from Jerry Smith's bunch. 32nd year head coach, 481 career victories here with the Broncos. Michaela Schmelzer in the Milwaukee midfield. Takes a return pass here, chipped over the top. Loetta will watch it back to the senior goalkeeper, Melissa Louder. San Diego native, product of Cathedral Catholic High School, distributes to get the Broncos going here. Skylar Smith. Outstanding freshman season for the product of Coto de Casa and Tesoro. One header on by Haggard. It'll get out right in front of the Milwaukee bench. And the Panthers will have a throw in here. 12th NCAA tournament appearance all signed for the visiting team today, Milwaukee. First since 2013. Picked to win the Horizon League preseason. They did just that. Ran the table. 9 wins in 9 tries. Advanced past Oakland in the semifinal of the Horizon League Championship. Won that one on penalty kicks. And then defeated Cleveland State 1-0, as I mentioned before, on the free kick by Swenson. Anywhere you look for both of these teams, the numbers across the board very good, and we'll get into those as the match goes along here. Nice pass far side, picking out Haley Johnson. Johnson will dial it up from range, chips one on, and it's an easy take for the Bronco keeper, Melissa Louder. Goal differential, always a good one to keep track of. Santa Clara plus 26, 47-4, 21 against on the year. Milwaukee is plus 28, 38 goals for. They've conceded only 10 times here in 2018. Building off of an outstanding defensive season from a year ago. Done so again here this year. This is Maddie Gonzalez for Santa Clara. Gonzalez dispossessed, really like the tandem defending there from Milwaukee. Marika Guay getting back on it here for Santa Clara. Broncos winning in a good spot. That's the WCC Player of the Year hedge that just scooted it out wide for the speedy Michaela George. Here's Sophia Jones for Santa Clara. Looking for Kelsey Turnbow, able to keep it in play. Turnbow got by Schwartz. Turnbow is deadly with both feet. Has a go with the left, and it's a save on a hop from Elena Lamacchia. Freshman from Mequon, Wisconsin, and Cedarburg called into action there in the 7th minute. Well, it's a hazy, little bit smoky day here in Northern California. Now, not uncommon this time of year to experience these kind of conditions from wildfires. Usually expected to see it one time per fall. And in terms of whether that smoke and the air quality is bad enough to consider canceling a match, the NCAA threshold and the air quality index, which is scale from 0 to 500. The NCAA threshold is 300. It'd be pretty bad if it got up to 300. It was about 170 at our last check. Smith for Santa Clara. Shots blocked away right to Gonzalez, but couldn't control it. She was in a good area just left of the penalty spot then for Santa Clara. Chandler McDaniel, the Corona, California product from down in the Riverside area of Southern California. Virginia Tech transfer. Coming on in, making the pass in the midfield that time. And here is the redshirt sophomore, Gabby Zabala. Set to throw it in. Johnson working against Audrey Hagart. Hagart holds her ground. Nice little back heel pass then to Sanchez. Give and go with Maddie Gonzalez, but it's cut out by Zabala. And poked out of play. And on for a throw-in. Talking with the Bronco head coach Jerry Smith about the week of prep, he said it was a good one. It was nice to only have to recover from a one-day weekend. And at that, a pretty easy senior day win. The Broncos breezed to a 7-0 victory over the Pacific Tigers here at home. 2 goals for Natalie Kennedy, a goal for Kelsey Turnbow, Maddie Gonzalez, Briar Blake, Julie Doyle all scored in that match for Santa Clara. So one where they were able to get the starters and the regulars some rest. Kelsey Hedge among them. Very fresh coming into the tournament. Same for Milwaukee. Cross from Sanchez. Turnbow trying to bring it down. It's knocked out off of Turnbow. And it will be a goal kick here for the Panthers. We'll talk about goal differentials. Last year, the Broncos had 51 goals. Gave up 33 for a +18 goal differential. Milwaukee scored 45 times last season, conceded only 6. Eye-popping numbers in the goal differential department. And despite being the only unbeaten team in the NCAA, team's RPI was just not high enough to warrant an at-large berth into the NCAA tournament. It's a team that had been to the Horizon League tournament championship match now in 3 consecutive seasons. A heartbreaker 2 years ago for Troy Fabiano's group. Up 2-0 over Northern Kentucky, who then rattled off 3 straight to win it. Last season, Milwaukee lost in penalties, but got the job done this year in a very well-deserved spot in the NCAA championship. Intervening that time for Santa Clara is Michaela George. And then a savvy play that time from Schwartz, the redshirt sophomore from Chicago. Knocking it off of Santa Clara's Kelsey Turnbow for a throw-in. Yeah, in terms of body of work and in terms of records and in terms of dominance of the Horizon League, no question that based on what this team has done over the last couple of years under Troy Fabiano, a team deserving to be in the NCAA tournament and getting here for the first time since Coach Fabiano took over back in 2015. 56 wins, 9 losses, and 11 draws in those 3 seasons, and quite a bit of change here into the 4th. Sanchez, cross with the left across the face of goal. Only one Bronco in the area. Headed on by Gabby Schwartz. And out for a Bronco set piece. And a corner kick opportunity here in the 12th minute. Maddie Gonzalez will step over to take it for Santa Clara, team that will do a lot of different things with its corners. But if I'm Santa Clara in this big of a match, when you've got Maria Sanchez who can serve it up with the left as well as she can, have Sanchez whip one in and see if you can get somebody to poke it in. And one low and short of the near post. Put toward the edge of the box. Good play by Onwameka that time. Broncos serve it back into the box and headed away by Kelly Swenson. Senior from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. As I mentioned before, Horizon League's Defensive Player of the Year. Here's a cross and taken down by the freshman keeper, Elena Lamacchia. Santa Clara, one of 16 national seeds. This section of the bracket plays into the number 2 seeded UCLA Bruins. Here's a long through pass on Wameka, trying to chase it down ahead of Sophia Jones, and nice play by Jones. Little clearance, little play that gets Santa Clara back on it with some positive possession then. Well, then Santa Clara gives it away in its defending half here, and Milwaukee able to possess. Chipped ball into the box. That one will be watched on out. Goal kick for the Broncos. UCLA yesterday 5-0 over San Jose State. As Milwaukee makes its first substitution, a freshman, Julia Barajas, is into the match. Freshman from Corona and Mater Dei, and she will take the spot of Lourdes Onwumeka. Well, it's always fun to watch the team reactions at selection shows. Header one in a favorable position here, but Alex Loetta dealing with it for Santa Clara. As far forward as Maria Sanchez. So I'm brought down here by Michaela Schmelter. Panthers with it far side. Long ball played into the box. Loetta there with the header again. Serving him up from range. This is what we expect to see from Milwaukee, and this is an interesting contrast in styles between these two teams. Panthers have it in a good spot here. Shot from range on a hop, and Louder knocks it down. Melissa Louder with the save in the 15th minute from Santa Clara. That's an example of winning a ball in a good spot, one good pass, one good move forward, and setting up a shooting opportunity. Panthers kept with the high press here. Now they'll sag back as Santa Clara moves forward with Alex Loetta. Loetta. Here's Turnbow. Now wide for Hagart. Broncos building through the lines here in the attacking third. Hagart's cross is on. Looking for Sanchez. One header away. And it'll be out for a Santa Clara throw. Schwartz doing the defending once again for Milwaukee. Chipped over the top by George. Brought down here. Maddie Gonzalez back out for George. Crosses on. Hedges there, and her header is over the bar and out for a goal kick. Left a couple of points hanging right before the action is picked back up. So let's get back to him here. The contrast in styles. You've got Santa Clara, very possession-based team, very much going to move the ball around. Great distributors all over the pitch. Not going to play the long ball as much. They like to dribble, build through the lines. A lot of great passers and players that can break you down off the dribble. Broncos very much an attack-minded, offense-first team. On the other side of things, you've got Milwaukee. Now, a lot of the distribution from this team will come from the defenders. Long passes forward to try and get the defense on its heels right away. So it does two things. It allows you to kind of skip that midfield part of the line and just go right to the front line. And one thing in talking with Jerry Smith that this team does really well, serving the long passes forward, getting a good first touch on the ball, and then having players in support. So possessing the ball well after that long pass and then turning it right into an attacking move. Always like it when it's a contrast in styles. Cross is on here, and the Broncos score it to take a 1-0 lead. Kelsey Turnbow crossed it. Maria Sanchez stabbed at it with the left. And in the 17th minute, it's 1-0 Broncos. Talked about Sanchez being so good with the left. Usually you see that in terms of her service. That time she gets on the other end of a Turnbow cross and connects for her 6th goal of 2018. 6 assists now on the year for Turnbow. 2nd in that category, only to Sanchez. NCAA leader entering the postseason with 14. 1-0 Broncos. Sophia Jones here for Santa Clara. on for Loetta. And now near side for Hager. Milwaukee coming in had only given up 1 goal in its last 5 matches and 2 goals in its last 7 matches. Team's only lost this year came in a road match at Marquette back on September 17th. That was wedged in between the first 2 games of Horizon League play. Here's George for Santa Clara. Scoots one across the 6 and dealt with. Still a crowded area in the box. Broncos will look to serve it back into it here. Left-footed ball coming on in. Kelsey Hedge there, but it's punched away by Lamakia. Now Hagar. Is possessed here by Milwaukee. A lot of players behind the ball for the Panthers, so they'll settle it. And now work their way out the back. Here's Schmelter. Forward into the midfield, controlled nicely by Chandler McDaniel. Good looking move forward, a rip from range. It's over the bar and out for a goal kick. Well, this one has started out at a very fast pace here today. Beg your pardon. Very quick pace. These teams getting right after each other right away, and that's usually what you see when you have that contrast in styles that we talked about. There's Maria Sanchez. That one is out off of Sanchez. Good tandem defending that time between Zabala and Yelena Sievert. Throw-in comes in here. Here's Schmelter. Headed on by Sanchez. Swenson working against Maddie Gonzalez. And now Sanchez. Bronco goal scorer. This one poked through for Santa Clara. Kelsey Turnbow. Turnbow turning on the Jets. Crosses it on. Slid away. Great play by Kelly Swenson. It's that kind of caliber of play that makes you your conference's defensive player of the year. Turnbow in a great spot, not too far from goal. Swenson came sliding through to send it out into touch. This one deflected. It was off of Milwaukee, but nice job from Lamakia. Shuffling over to her right to pick it up. So Lamakia will get set to boot it out the back here. Loetta with a header there again. Hedge heads it down. Sanchez now for Turnbow. Through pass. Skylar Smith. Broncos working the left flank very well in the early going here. Here's George. Dealt with for a moment and out for a Santa Clara throw. George put that one right at Zabala, who headed it back. Now here's Turnbow. Good tackle that time. Milwaukee able to win it back and send it on forward. Loetta now. Converted midfielder for Santa Clara, now at a center back spot, and brings all the things that midfielders do so well to that position. Great point of distribution for Santa Clara. And don't sleep on Loetta taking some advantages when the defense gives her space to make runs forward and instigate the attack herself. Great all-around player. Talking with Bronco head coach Jerry Smith, he likens her versatility to that of one of the former Bronco greats, Julie Johnston, Julie Ertz. Anytime you get compared to Julie Ertz, that is some high praise right there. Smith here for Santa Clara, trying to shield off Seaver that time, and the Broncos win a free kick. Here's Kelsey Hedge. Six shots, 3 on target thus far for the Broncos. 3 shots, 2 on frame for Milwaukee. Both teams have had their keepers called into action to make 2 saves. Quick turn from Hedge. Slips it through. Skylar Smith. Sliding play, and what a take from Milwaukee. Sustained some contact as well. Skylar Smith in a good spot. You get called into action like that as a keeper, you leave your feet, you gotta get it right. Milwaukee did. What a play with Skylar Smith bearing down on the Panther net. Now Sanchez for Hedge. Dispossessed here, could lead to a chance. Panthers trying to go straight through the chute. And the Broncos will play it on back to Melissa Louder. Nice job trying to get forward quickly that time with Barajas storming out the back. The freshman for Milwaukee. Now the Broncos with Turnbow. Able to turn to the middle, being watched here by Swenson. Now sends it out for Sanchez. Crosses on from Sanchez on a hop, cleared away. Back in the direction of Maria Sanchez. Now for a Bronco throw. She's a redshirt senior from American Falls, Idaho. Idaho State transfer. Crosses on from Sanchez. Nobody home for Santa Clara. Hager got a touch to it. You could hear the appeals that time for a handball. But not given then. Hager will drop it on back. Here's Sophia Jones. Now Hedge for Santa Clara. Smith. A little heavy touch with the left, but she's got some room behind her to control it. Back for Hager. Broncos in a lot of control here. Sustained possession. Good connection on their passes. Hedge trying to tee one up with the right. And Milwaukee wins it back, and they'll put it away from danger. West Coast Conference Player of the Year, in part because of the damage Hedge did during conference action. 6 goals, 2 assists. She had 7 goals and 2 assists for the season. Only goal that Hedge scored outside of conference play was in the Broncos' home opener, a 4-1 win against Cal back on August 20th. Haggard for Sanchez. She'll cross it again. Hedge looking to get there. Got a header to it and sends it on out. It will be a goal kick, and that will lead us to a couple of substitutions here. Morgan Kerber will check into the match for Milwaukee, along with Rafferty Kugler. Kugler, a forward, freshman from St. Louis Park, Minnesota. And Kerber, sophomore from Sussex, Wisconsin. Brought down off the goal kick. Sent out wide. This is Kerber working with Swenson. Sanchez wins it back in a favorable spot. Now Maria Sanchez, 1v1 against Swenson. Threw on the ground, and it's out for another goal kick. Broncos had Maddie Gonzalez chasing after it. So much dribbling creativity. It would be one thing to have the dribbling piece. It would be one thing to have the service piece, but it's a big thing to have both of them. To be able to create the space, take players on 1v1, have as good a left foot as you're going to see from any player in the country. That's what makes Maria Sanchez so very dangerous. High level of skill across a lot of different offensive fronts. Here's Aaron Corrigan. Milwaukee will put it on back. Broncos have done well to get on the front foot. Last 10 or so minutes of this match. Got the opening goal from Sanchez at about the 17th minute mark. More appeals for a handball that time. Milwaukee's got a good spell of possession getting forward. Chip cross into the box, headers on, and sent wide of the far post. Out for a Bronco goal kick. First round coverage of the 2018 NCAA Women's Soccer Championship. Milwaukee versus Santa Clara is an exclusive presentation of the W.TV on Stadium and the National Collegiate Athletic Association. For more coverage of the 2018 NCAA Women's Soccer Championship, go to ncaa.com. David Gentili with you here from Santa Clara, California. Broncos will have the advantage here. Pass between a couple of Santa Clara players that time as they try to get forward. And now Milwaukee back on it. Schmelter leaves it back, sent into the midfield for Philpotts. Connecting with short passes here. Trying to find that avenue forward. Rafferty Kugler. Back for Schmelter, chips one over the top. Sophia Jones getting there for Santa Clara. You can see Milwaukee pressing that high line, trying to force that giveaway. And they will have it as Sophia Jones played it on out. Smart move from Jones. She really had nowhere to go that time. Chip back into the midfield. Maddie Gonzalez is there. Calling for Maria Sanchez to expand the Broncos shape. Get out wide a little bit. Sanchez plays one down the line. Swenson is there. Too far in front of the intended target, Skylar Smith. And out for a goal kick. Talking with Troy Fabiano earlier this week, asked him about his overall thoughts in 2018. He said, well, we really put an emphasis on doing well in conference play and then trying to mix it up as best we can in non-conference. The team doesn't get the opportunity to travel as much, pretty regional based. So he said some of the big questions going into the season with how much youth we have, were we going to maintain success from past season? And he said we did so because of seniors in key spots and freshmen that have stepped in and been very impactful with the transition to a new group of girls this year. Here's Sanchez. Cross from Sanchez. Swenson there to head it away from trouble. Now Kugler with Michaela George bearing down on her. George has a track and field background. Talk about just straight up speed. She's got a lot of it. And uses that speed effectively to cover pretty much the entire flank for Santa Clara. Talking about some of the freshman representation for Milwaukee. Haley Johnson, Horizon League Freshman of the Year, team's overall leader with 20 points. Turnbow set up a goal earlier in this one, trying to do so again, and that time just couldn't make her mind up. Sought out for a goal kick. Two more substitutions for Milwaukee. McKenna Stratton is into the match along with Mackenzie Schill, pair of sophomores checking in.
Also number 4, McKenna Stratton.
And for Santa Clara, we will see the first of Julie Doyle and DB Pridham. Pridham, a junior out of Saratoga. Doyle for the Broncos, a sophomore from Laguna Niguel. By the way, coming up at halftime of the match. And a couple videos for you to enjoy. A feature on Milwaukee's Aaron Corrigan. And we'll take a look at all the goals and the assists from the West Coast Conference Player of the Year, Kelsey Hedge. Milwaukee on the move. Kerber, first time go. Hopped right in front of Melissa Louder. Taken by the Bronco keeper as Pridham looks to leave it back to Marika Guay. Milwaukee keeping the pressure on here. Here's Stratton. Crosses one into the area. Run was too far in front that time from Kugler, and the cross too far behind. So the Broncos get it back. George. Swenson stepping up. Boots one forward, and George watches that one out for a Santa Clara throw-in. Broncos were picked to win the West Coast Conference this year. They finished second in the 10-team WCC. Second to last match of the regular season pitted Santa Clara at BYU. They were even on points, and the Cougars got the job done in Provo, winning that one 2-0. But the Broncos now the flag carriers for the WCC. After BYU dropped its opening round match 2-1 yesterday on the road against Texas Christian. Actually, both of these teams, their conference flag carriers. Talked about this sector of the bracket. North Carolina State 1-0 winners over Northwestern. And by the way, the Northwestern head coach Michael Moynihan, former head boss at Milwaukee and one of the guys who helped build this program into the national prominence that it has. Took over the job in Northwestern in 2012. Ross is on here. Hedge gets there and it hops just over the bar. Out for a goal kick. Good opportunity then for Santa Clara. Broncos will make a substitution. Freshman Kylie Halverson is into the match. Comes to the Broncos by way of Kaiser in Hawaii Kai out on the islands. Maddie Gonzalez will take a seat. 34th minute of action, 1-0 Santa Clara. Our Bronco team that has been very good at home. 11-0 at home this season. And a stellar all-time record in the NCAA tournament here at Buckshaw Field at Stevens Stadium. Broncos have played 39 home matches all time in the NCAA tournament. 35 wins. 35-4 at home in the postseason as Halverson is offside. They've won each of their last 4 here at home. They've advanced in 5 of the last 6 home tournament matches. Last time they lost was back in 2011, a 1-1 game against Cal, lost 4-3 on penalty kicks. Last home loss for the Broncos in the tournament in 90 minutes. You go all the way back to 2006. 1-0 defeat against USC. Jones for Santa Clara. Back for George. And all the way on back to Louder. Try and relieve some of that pressure. Headed down by Milwaukee. Here's Seaver. Panthers have had some good moves forward as of late, but really haven't had a particularly dangerous chance in the last little go of it here. That's what they'll try to find in the last 10 minutes of this first half. His dribbling move and control there. Very patient in possession here. Corrigan played it on forward. Now they'll serve one up into the box. Headed away that time by Hagar. Milwaukee able to stay on it with Phil Potts. She'll play it back to Swenson. Another long ball coming forward, headed on. Drops down into the box, and Louder is there for Santa Clara. As that time it was Schill who was trying to swim her way around the Bronco defender to get in on goal. So that patient kind of dinking it around the back approach leading to some long passes forward. That's what we saw in that last possession. Here's Julie Doyle streaking forward for Hedge. Very crowded area. Does get through one line. You can hear the student section from the far side here at Santa Clara really turning up the volume for the hometown Broncos on top 1-0 here. Doyle's out wide. 2 Broncos streaking. It's Halverson and Loetta. Doyle sets up onto the right and just punched over the bar. What a save from Elena Lamacchia. That was a well-struck ball. Lamacchia. Big stop from the freshman that time. She's had a couple of nice plays in this one to keep it a 1-goal game. The Broncos earn a corner here. Sanchez driving one low to the near post, sent on out. Broncos will have another corner. Milwaukee 5 feet 7 inches tall, using the full stretch of her frame that time to make the stop. Sanchez crosses in off the corner. A lot of contact there. Rolls out to the right side. Yeah, big contact that time, leaves 2 players down on the pitch. And the training staff will be called on to come out right away and check into the situation. Yeah, you could see that time, no question about it. Big aerial challenge then. Good thing is both players able to get back to their feet. Looked like Marika Guay for Santa Clara. And on the other side looked like Aaron Corrigan for Milwaukee. So those two are attended to. Gives us a chance to take a look around the bracket for the NCAA Women's Soccer Championship. Way will come off the field here for Santa Clara. Well, looks like it won't be too long of a break, so we can stick into action here. And now just trying to sort out how to get this thing restarted after the head referee, Matthew Buckman, blew it dead upon seeing the contact and upon seeing both players down onto the ground. Here's Natalie Kennedy into the match for Santa Clara. So Kennedy will come in for Guay, take her spot in the midfield. Junior out of Foothill Ranch, California, and Santa Margarita Catholic. Long boot out the back. Gets Milwaukee started quickly. Seaver. Scooted out wide. Here's Stratton. Crosses on, hopping into the box. Dealt with by Santa Clara, but nice stretch by Schmelzer to keep the Panthers on the move here. Stratton coming in, working against Audrey Haggart. No nonsense clearance that time, and a good play from Santa Clara's Audrey Haggart. Send it out for a throw-in. 2 substitutions. Freshman Taylor Hattori is into the match, and another freshman, Haley Steele, will check in. Steele from Lakeville, Minnesota. Hattori out of Heartland, Wisconsin. This ball sent just inside, across the face of the top of that 18-yard box. Shielded out by Julie Doyle, with Schwartz trying to bear down on her for a Santa Clara throw-in. Now, stylistically, we talked about what Milwaukee does, and in talking with head coach Jerry Smith about the matchup, he said we always want to schedule tough in non-conference. There's no question about that. But the deeper layer to that is you want to try and schedule teams that give you a lot of different looks, that give you a lot of different styles of play. Sophia Jones navigating her way through the midfield, stepping forward from her center back spot. Milwaukee wins it back here. And he said one thing about this Milwaukee team style of play, said it most reminded him of North Texas, who gave Texas A&M a good run for it yesterday. Took the Aggies, one of the number 3 seeds in the tournament. Santa Clara, another of the 4 number 3 seeds. North Texas 15-2-3 on the year. Took the Aggies to double overtime before A&M found the match winner from Allie Watt with less than 2 minutes to go in the match. But in talking about that point with head coach Jerry Smith, said we want to see a lot of different styles of play as well. You want to get good caliber opponents. You want to see a lot of different styles of play. And he said that's why the North Texas matchup was a good one for Santa Clara, because they drew a team that has a similar style of play. And he said that's not something with kind of the defense-minded approach. Some of these long passes out the back. High point of emphasis on set pieces that you see a lot of teams in the West employing. Quick throw in here for Santa Clara. Sets up Maria Sanchez. Sanchez's cross on a hop. Pridham is there, and it's sent out. Dealt with by the Milwaukee defense for a Bronco corner kick. Sanchez puts it on the ground, takes it back. George sends one in, heading to the far post. It's caught. There was contact. That should be a foul against Santa Clara. And it looks like the offside flag was up as well. So if not for the foul, then the offside. Either way, nullify it. But the bigger issue here is that Elena Lamacchia took a good hit that time, and she is down inside the Milwaukee net. And you talk about some toughness, some fearlessness, going right after that ball. And we're going to have a yellow card issued here to Santa Clara. Matthew Buckman has the card out. And seems obvious enough that it would be for the Bronco player crashing in on goal that time. Flying in with the contact. I believe it's DB Pridham that will go into the book for the Broncos. Now check that, it will be Kylie Halverson. So Halverson picks up a yellow here in the 41st minute. First player from either side to go into the book. Kelsey Hedge locked away by Milwaukee. McKenna Stratton plays it on back. Here's Morgan Kerber. Back for Stratton. Trying to go right around Hedge. Pridham, nice play to control. You can see her keeping her arms out to her side. Not trying to make any extra contact. Shielding off the Panther player and winning it back for Santa Clara. I talked about the matchups and the different styles of play. And I think that's a good example of controlling what you can control. Scheduling and getting different types of teams on your schedule. As Julie Doyle makes a good run forward here, was able to keep it in play for Halverson. Out of the top of the box. Sanchez back for Hedge. Slips one through. Pridham trying to make that diagonal run. It's sent on out. And Pridham will be, I believe that's going to be a foul against Santa Clara. Will be in the box, so it's a free kick here for Milwaukee. But you don't control the tournament draw, and even though the likelihood is that you usually see somebody who's regionally based, especially in the first round, sometimes you don't, and that's the case for both of these teams here today. Kylie Halverson just trying to chip one easy toward goal. Lamacchia there for the take. Moving around well. And the freshman netminder, who's had herself a nice first half, looks like she's good to go after taking that contact from Halverson on the ball into the box just a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, an intriguing matchup for all the winning these teams have done, and certainly because it's a non-regional first-round matchup. Halverson free again. Couple Broncos in the box. The cross is on for Hedge and dealt with by Schmelzer. On out for another Santa Clara throw. Broncos keeping the pressure on here. Doyle. Doyle now with the cross. Dinks off the bar and out for a goal kick. Natalie Abel now into the match. Freshman from Plainfield, Illinois. And not too surprising in a tournament match, you want to keep fresh legs, but also, as we mentioned, closer to the open of the show with the air quality not being great because of some wildfires in the extended Bay Area. That extra respite will pay off just that much more Now Milwaukee. Hedge got a boot to it. Loetta stepping forward then. Back for Kennedy. Broncos controlling it well here. I think Santa Clara has done a good job getting into an offensive rhythm in this match. 9 shots, 4 on target. Countless moves down the wing and quite a few crosses that have set this team up. Now they'll try and play it quickly. Less than 30 seconds to go. Loetta shoots one forward. Swenson is there again. Reads the game so incredibly well for this team. Now with 15 seconds, George scoots it back in. Kennedy. Haggart will look to serve it up here. Low ball into the box, dealt with by Milwaukee, and that'll be the last significant action here of the first half. Entertaining first 45 minutes has us at 1-0 in favor of the 7th-ranked team in the country, Santa Clara, over Milwaukee at halftime here in the 2018 NCAA Women's Soccer Championship. We're going to step aside for the start of halftime. When we come back, we'll have a feature with the Milwaukee redshirt senior defender, Aaron Corrigan. We'll take a look at all the goals and assists from the West Coast Conference Player of the Year, Kelsey Hedge. Get you caught up on tournament action and bring it back for the second 45. You are watching the NCAA Women's Soccer Championship on the